Let's get started with the programming part. Here I have created a folder with name script, and here is our script that is named chat, and this will hold all the functions that we need. And when we are using Photon chat, actually what happens is there are a bunch of things that are mentioned in that Photon chat that we must implement in here, because we will be extending class name. Yeah, as soon as we get in, I'll be explaining you a bunch of things. So yeah, actually for this I have a template. So let me explain you like what it is. So basically, what we do with the Photon chat is we kind of extend this iChat client listener. So once we do this, what we must do is like we must implement a bunch of functions that there, so that it wants us to have some functionality implemented for all these functions. So from here to here, these are the functions that are implemented. So like maybe in some cases we will not be in need of all these things, but yeah, like this is the function that we must hold in our script. So this is a simple template that I've created, and I will be sharing it in the description. So yeah, just copy paste it, and we'll be good to get started with it. So here we have our class. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy paste the libraries we will be needing. So we are done with this, and I'm going to use this interface actually, client listener. So a comma, and yeah. So here I have that client listener. Okay, so once we are done, if you go back to Unity, there will be lots of errors. I will try to show it to you if possible. Yeah, here you go. So there are 9 errors. So it says there are 9 functions that you have not implemented that you must. Okay, so let's go, and what we were just going to copy paste. Let's see what happens. Here to here, copy, and well, paste it here. After this update function, we must save it. Well, this I will just comment it for now, and let's go back to it and see something is happening or not. Yeah, cool. So yeah, there is something that we have not saved, I guess. Yeah, that's no big deal. So we'll solve that. It's already defined. Oh, okay. So maybe I've copied this update function as well. Okay, I'll just implement. Okay. So yeah, cool. So as I told, like these are the functions that Photon chat needs. So there is no saying like I will not implement it. Like you must. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to zoom in. Come on, it's not working. I don't know why. Just zoom in a bit. Cool. So now it's pretty much, I mean, for you guys it's visible, I guess, hopefully. So yeah, after we do this, there are a bunch of other things that we are going to take care of. Okay, so we are pretty sure that we will be dealing with lots of UI stuff as well. So what we're going to do is we are going to use another library function of Unity, that's using Unity engine dot UI, because we'll be dealing with a lot of texts and all that stuff. So yeah, this is what we need. And so let's get some variables. Some variables would be a client, a chat client for Photon. Public, there is no need of using public for this Photon chat client. Okay, here it is. So we'll call it as chat client. Okay, cool. So next thing we will be needing is some text fields that we already have there, we have already placed there. So one is player name, so it must be public so that we can give it a reference. So public text, maybe player name, PLRNAME. Okay, no need for a here. Okay, so player name, and then again public text thing. Text, this time it will be holding the state, like connection state that we want to show them. Okay, so connection state. Okay, cool. So we have our player name, and we have the connection state, and after that what we are going to do is we must create something called as a channel, basically a global channel or a world channel, where all the users are connected, and they can kind of interact with everyone who is in that particular world. So we are going to do that next. Okay, so let's create it. There's no need for public for this. It will be a string actually. String world world chat maybe. So just make use of any variable name that makes sense to you. Okay, so once we are done with this, what we need is we are pretty sure like there is an input field, that is like user will type in message and we will be taking that input. So first let's take in that. So it will be a public variable again. Public variable. This is the maybe message input. Message input. It is a text. Okay, so we have our message, and another thing is we also have a player name. So these are the two input that we will be getting from the user. So we got those two inputs, and after this actually what we must do is once the user sends the message, we must print it somewhere, we must show it somewhere. So that's message area, or the panel that holds all the messages. So let's have a variable for that as well. This will be again public. This is again text, and this will be message area. This is the area where we're going to show all the messages being exchanged. Okay, so these are the variables. As of now, we'll be needing it. So if the need comes, we'll be adding some more variables. Okay, first things that we are going to do in the start function is we will make sure that it is able to run in the background as well. So we must set something like application dot run in background. This is very much important for this chat. If you don't include this particular application or this particular app that you're going to develop will not work. The chat will not work because it must have the capability to run in the background as well. Else it will stop the connection with the server, and all of a sudden we have no idea why it's not working. It has happened with me so many times. So this is pretty important thing. So yeah, let's set it to true. Okay, cool. So it's true now. Now it has the ability to run in the background as well. Okay, fine. Next thing, next important thing is we must make sure that user has specified chat ID. That is, we ourselves while developing it, we might have skipped it. So the best way to handle it is having a if condition. If the condition should be string, because it's a string, dot is null, because we are going to check if a particular string is null, that is that app ID. So we must specify that. So let's specify it in this way. This is a Photon network. Photon network. Yeah, here we go. And inside we have something called as Photon server settings. Okay, so let's type that in. So yeah, Photon server settings. These are the server settings that we do as soon as we import the Photon package from the asset store. Okay, so we are accessing the settings, and we must check, have we provided a chat ID, a valid chat ID. So yeah, just select this one. So with this, what will be this particular thing we will be able to guess it out, like if we have provided the chat app ID, yeah, that we must. Okay, so this is done. So what we're going to do is we are going to print some error message. You can also use debug.log, error.log and all. I will just use print for our understanding sake. And I'm pretty sure I am provided this, so hopefully there will be no printing of this. No chat ID provided. Okay, cool. Whatever it is. We have not provided it, so we will return from here. Okay, done. So these were very important. Application run in background, and we have to check if the chat app ID is null. Okay, so we're done with this. And another important part of all these things is in update. Cool. So what we're going to do is we are going to have a constant call, like there is something called service in Photon. So what we must do is we must keep on interacting with that service just to make sure that the Photon knows that we are alive and we want to like communicate with the server. So what we're going to do is we are going to just keep on calling that function, this dot chat client service. So this is a service function that we must keep on calling every time, and if we miss it, the thing will not work. It will just stop working. We will not be connected to the server at all the time. So yeah, these two things are done, and let's check out if there are any errors with Unity. Well, cool. So there are no errors, and we are doing a great job so far. Well, let's get back to the programming then. So after this, what happens is when we load it, there are a bunch of things that we must do. So let's take care of those things first. What we are going to do is we are going to set the status, not here actually, over here. So once we start it, we want to give update of that status info. So it's going to be something like we are just starting this app and we are trying to connect it. So what we're going to do is we will use this connection state. Now, okay, connection state dot text equal to connecting. Okay. So with this, user will be having the idea of that we are trying to connect him to the server. So once we done that, we must also specify a global channel, a world channel. Okay, so world channel is what should we name it? World chat will be. We'll keep it simple and we'll just call it world. You can give it a whatever name you love. So yeah, this is what I love. I love word. Okay, so we are done with this, and so yeah, this is the basic things that we do to show user the status and all, and we already defined. I mean, already have a chat, a world chat channel called world. So the thing is, we are not done yet. So in the start, we must also make sure that we provide all the necessary things so that we can connect to the chat server. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to just call a small function called get connected. Okay, so let's define that function. Again. My PC is lagging like hell, I don't know why. Okay, so here is void get connected. Okay, cool. So we are in this function. So what we're going to do is we are going to name few basic things. Okay, so we'll just print something so that we know what's going on in here. So trying to connect. So we will just print it so we know that we are already in the get connected function. Okay, so this thing is done. What we're going to do is we are define the we are going to instantiate the client, the chat client. This dot chat client is equal to new chat client. Okay, here it is. Cool. So we have a client now. We have the client. So after this, what we are going to do is we are going to connect it to the server. So let's do that. This dot chat client dot connect. So what we're going to specify is, if it's a pretty lengthy line actually. So first what we're going to do is we must give the chat ID. The best way to do that is to get the chat ID from the Photon settings. So let's do that. Photon network dot Photon chat settings, Photon server settings. Okay, it's Photon server settings, and from this we are going to get the chat ID. Cool. So we have this. So this is our chat ID, and after we do this, we are going to name a app version. App version is nothing much of a deal. We are, as of this tutorial scope is concerned, we are not at all worried about the app version. So name it anything. Cool. And after this, we will be having some authentication stuff. So let's do that. We need a new object, new ExitGames. This is pretty exciting because this is by ExitGames. Cool. So ExitGames dot client and dot Photon. And in Photon, what we do is we want to authenticate the chat. So let's call the chat. There is the chat, and we must authenticate it. Authentication. Cool. So we have the authentication values. So what is this authentication value? As of now, the only thing we are worried about is the username. So we are going to authenticate the user. So let's send the user. So we have the username. That's in actually what it's in, and my PC is hanging like hell. Really sorry for that, guys. Message, player PLR name. That's the variable. Okay, cool. So here PLR name. Cool. So we have the player name. So we want the text of that. We'll be getting the text. So what we're going to do, we're going to authenticate the user with this. Okay.